The woman you want might already be waiting for you, but not for the reasons you think. She is not waiting for more compliments, not waiting for more flowers, not waiting for the endless attention you keep giving her. In fact, the more you try those things, the more invisible you may become to her, because the thing she is actually waiting for is something most men never learn how to give, something deeper, something ancient, something wired into the deepest layers of human psychology. And here's the unsettling truth. She cannot explain it to you, not because she's hiding it, but because she doesn't fully understand it herself. She only knows one thing. She knows when it's there, and she knows when it's missing. For decades, the psychologist Carl Jung studied the unconscious mind, the hidden forces inside us that shape attraction, desire, and connection. His discovery was simple but powerful. Human beings are constantly responding to psychological signals they cannot consciously describe. We feel drawn to someone without knowing exactly why. We feel distance from someone, even when they seem perfect on paper. So the real question is not, why don't women like nice guys? The real question is, what psychological signals create attraction in the first place? Today, we're going to explore 7 deep needs that operate inside the female psyche. These are not tricks, not manipulation tactics, not pickup lines. They are ancient psychological mechanisms shaped by evolution and human nature. When these needs are met, attraction grows naturally. When they are ignored, attraction slowly dies, even if everything else looks perfect. And here's something important. Men who understand these needs don't chase women. They don't beg for attention. They don't wonder why their effort leads nowhere. Instead, they become the kind of man women are naturally drawn toward. But men who never learn these things stay confused. They do everything they were taught. They give love. They give attention. They give loyalty. And still, they watch women walk away. The philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer once said something fascinating. Man can do what he wills, but he cannot will what he wills. In simple words, you cannot choose what you feel attracted to. Attraction is not a decision. It's a response to specific psychological triggers. So your goal is not to convince someone to want you. Your goal is to become someone who naturally activates those triggers. And this leads us to the first need. Need number 1, the need to feel chosen. Every woman carries a quiet question in the back of her mind. She almost never says it out loud, but it affects how she experiences every relationship. The question is this: did he truly choose me? Or did he simply settle for me? This difference is enormous. Human beings have a deep psychological need to feel special, to feel unique, to feel like they were selected, not simply accepted. For women, this need goes even deeper. Thousands of years ago, being chosen by a committed partner meant survival, protection, resources, stability. But being settled for meant something dangerous. It meant the man might leave the moment someone better appeared. That ancient fear still exists in the subconscious mind today. When a woman feels truly chosen, something inside her relaxes. She feels safe investing emotionally. But when she feels replaceable, something inside her stays guarded. And here is where most men make a huge mistake. They treat women generically. They give the same compliments to every attractive woman. You're beautiful. You're amazing. You're so smart. These things might be true, but they are also meaningless because she has heard them hundreds of times. Real attraction begins when you notice what makes her uniquely her. Maybe it's the way she becomes passionate when talking about something she loves. Maybe it's the unusual way she sees the world. Maybe it's the quiet confidence she shows in small moments. When a man notices these specific things and communicates them honestly, she feels something rare. She feels seen. And feeling seen is incredibly powerful. But there is a warning here. Fake observations are worse than generic ones. Women are extremely good at sensing when someone is trying to impress them. So the goal is not to invent clever compliments. The goal is to actually pay attention. When curiosity is real, recognition becomes natural. And when she feels recognized, she begins to feel chosen. This is the first psychological need, and it creates the foundation for everything that follows. But something else must happen for attraction to stay alive. And this second need will challenge everything you think you know about relationships. Need number 2, the need for emotional fluctuation. Most men believe attraction grows through constant attention, always texting, always available, always giving affection. But psychology shows something surprising. Constant attention often kills attraction. Why? Because the human brain adapts quickly. When something becomes constant, it becomes normal, and normal rarely creates emotional excitement. Think about this. If someone compliments you every single day, eventually you stop noticing it. But if that same compliment appears unexpectedly, it suddenly feels powerful again. Our emotions react to changes, not stable conditions. This is why unpredictability creates engagement. Psychologists call this intermittent reinforcement. It's the same principle casinos use. Slot machines don't reward players every time. They reward them randomly. That unpredictability keeps people emotionally engaged. Now let's be clear. This does not mean you should manipulate someone by playing games. Artificial distance feels fake very quickly. The real solution is much simpler. Build a life that doesn't revolve around her. A man with purpose, with goals, with friends, with passions, naturally creates variation in his attention. Sometimes he is busy with work. Sometimes he is focused on personal growth. Sometimes he is with friends. Sometimes he is present with her. This natural rhythm creates emotional fluctuation, and that fluctuation keeps attraction alive. But the man who makes a woman his entire world does the opposite. He becomes constantly available. His attention never changes. And because it never changes, it stops feeling valuable. But when a man has a full life, his attention becomes meaningful because it is not unlimited. And that brings us to the third psychological need. Need number 3, the need to feel his strength. A woman's nervous system is constantly evaluating something, not consciously, but instinctively. She is asking herself, is this man strong enough? This strength is not just physical, it is emotional strength, psychological stability. Can he stay calm under pressure? Can he hold his beliefs without collapsing? Can he remain steady when conflict appears? Women often test this instinctively. A teasing comment, a disagreement, a moment of emotional pressure. These moments are not cruelty. They are evaluation. If a man immediately apologizes, changes his opinion, or abandons his boundaries, she senses weakness. But the strength looks very different. Strength is calm, grounded, unshaken. A strong man can simply say, I understand your perspective, but I see it differently. He doesn't attack. He doesn't collapse. He simply stands where he stands. And this stability communicates something powerful. It tells her nervous system, this man will not fall apart under pressure. But strength alone is not enough, because strength without warmth can create fear. And that leads us into the deeper needs, the ones that create emotional bonding. A woman needs to feel chosen, not settled for. She needs emotional fluctuation, not constant predictable attention. and she needs to sense psychological strength, a man who can remain steady under pressure. But these three needs only begin the process. They may create attraction, they may spark curiosity, but attraction alone does not create deep emotional bonding. For that, something more is required. And this is where the next four needs begin to operate, deeper inside the emotional and psychological layers of connection. Need number 4, the need for psychological safety. Strength is important, but strength alone can also feel intimidating. A man can appear powerful, confident, and successful, yet still feel emotionally unsafe to a woman. And when that happens, she may admire him, but she will never fully open herself to him, because true connection requires something very specific. Safety, not physical safety alone, but emotional safety, a space where she can reveal parts of herself without fear of rejection or punishment. Every human being carries things they rarely show others: insecurities, past mistakes, embarrassing memories, hidden fears. Most people hide these parts because they fear judgment. So when a woman shares something vulnerable with a man, she is doing something extremely significant. She is testing whether he can hold the vulnerability without attacking it. Many men fail this moment without realizing it. They respond by giving advice, trying to fix the problem, minimizing the feeling, or worse, judging her for it. And when that happens, something important closes inside her. She learns that vulnerability with him is dangerous. But when a man responds differently, when he simply listens, when he stays calm and present, when he does not shame or criticize, something powerful happens. She feels accepted, not just for her strengths, but for her flaws too. And this creates a deep psychological bond, because very few people experience this kind of acceptance. But here is the important balance. Safety must exist together with strength, because safety without strength feels weak, and the strength without safety feels threatening. But when both exist together, a man becomes something raw, someone she can respect, and someone she can trust. And rarity always increases attraction. Need number 5, the need to be seen in her growth. Every human being is constantly evolving. We are not fixed personalities. We are always changing, learning, becoming something new. Psychologist Carl Jung described this process as individuation, the lifelong journey of becoming one's authentic self. And during this process, people desperately want one thing: to feel that someone recognizes their growth. Most people don't do this. They evaluate others instead. They judge who someone is right now. They criticize flaws. They point out mistakes. But the man who creates deep connection does something different. He notices who she is becoming. He sees the progress, the transformation, the development. Maybe she is becoming more confident than she used to be. Maybe she is overcoming fears she once struggled with. Maybe she is pursuing goals she once doubted. When a man notices these changes and expresses them, he does something extremely powerful. He becomes a mirror that reflects her progress back to her. And when someone sees their own growth reflected through another person, the emotional bond becomes much deeper, because that person becomes part of their journey. People often fall deeply in love with those who make them feel like a better version of themselves, not because they changed them, but because they recognized who they were becoming. Need number 6, the need to exist in his future. Connection in the present is powerful, but connection without a sense of future can create anxiety. A woman may enjoy every moment with a man, yet still feel uncertain about where things are going. And that uncertainty slowly erodes emotional security. This does not mean she needs promises or commitments immediately, but she does need something subtle. She needs to feel that she exists in his future thinking. This often appears through simple language. For example, a man might say, "When I travel next year, I want to visit Japan." Notice something about that sentence. He speaks about the future as if he is alone. She does not exist in it. Now compare it to this. "Next year, we should visit Japan. I think you would love it there." Same future, same idea, but the language changes everything. Now she exists inside that future vision. Her mind registers something important. She is not just a temporary presence in his life. She is someone he naturally includes when imagining tomorrow. This does not require promises. It simply requires acknowledgement, and that small psychological signal can reduce enormous amounts of uncertainty. Because humans are future-oriented creatures, we want to know that our emotional investment is not leading nowhere. When a woman feels included in a man's future, her sense of stability grows, and stability allows deeper emotional investment. Need number 7, the need to surrender to something greater. This final need operates at the deepest level of attraction. It is rarely discussed, and yet it explains why some men become unforgettable. A woman needs to feel that being with a man connects her to something larger than the relationship itself, something meaningful, something purposeful, something moving forward. In other words, she needs to feel that the man she chooses is going somewhere. Human beings crave meaning. Philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche once said, "He who has a why to live can bear almost anyhow." Purpose creates direction. Direction creates movement, and movement creates inspiration. A man without purpose may still offer comfort. He may provide stability, but something essential remains missing. His life is not moving toward anything meaningful, so investing deeply in him feels empty. But a man with purpose is different. His life has trajectory. He is building something, creating something, moving toward a vision. And when a woman connects with that man, she is not only connecting with him, she is connecting with the future he is creating. That is incredibly powerful because it allows her emotional investment to feel meaningful. She is not just loving a person, she is joining a direction, joining a story that is still unfolding. And that kind of connection becomes very difficult to replace, bringing everything together. Now you understand the 7 psychological needs that often shape deep attraction. A woman needs to feel chosen, to experience emotional variation, to sense strength, to feel psychological safety, to have her growth witnessed, to exist in a man's future, and finally, to connect with a man whose life has genuine purpose.